Hello, Sunday Funday. This is Matt Peterson, manager of the Grizzlies. This is long overdue. I have a few questions to answer about my loss back to the Deadly Penguins earlier this year, but I think it's actually decent timing now because I've had some more time to reflect on my team after this loss this last week. I think my feelings are about the same as they were due to my early season losses, and so I think it's a good time to kind of look into the locker room here and kind of reflect what's going on. I think that after the loss earlier this week, it's kind of had some clarifying figures in terms of looking at the stats and the consistency of the guys we have and the holes that we have as well. So we're going to move on, answer a few of these questions, and kind of give a little bit of insight into how this team's running right now. So number one, 1-3. Looking like a rough start to the season. I think we can continue that, being that I'm 4-7 now. What are a few things that are disappointing so far? I think the most disappointing thing is the inconsistency. Now, whether that be to some injuries that we've had or some really kind of tough matchups, but the fact that some guys score 15 one week, 2 the next week, 3 the week after that, back to 10, like, oh, okay, 10 on my bench, that was great. So let's move you into the lineup, and then you get 4. So the up and down is really frustrating. It's reflected my now total non-trust in Yahoo. Being projected to slaughter a team and then score less than about half of your projections really solidifies that means absolutely nothing. So we are, especially Yahoo's rankings at the beginning of the season as well as now. Definitely going to have to find a new list. Don't trust them anymore. So definitely it's been disappointing, especially this last loss. Lost to some really bad teams this year, giving them chances to have not defeated seasons. So I've let you guys down twice now in terms of losing to Coy and losing to Gregor, which obviously should never happen. So my apologies to the league. I feel like that's it's my part to continue the losing streaks, and we haven't been able to do that. Number 2, when you're leaning on your stars to make plays and they have what some would say their worst game ever, how do you address that during the week? What does OBJ need to do to be better? Well, OBJ keeps redefining his worst week ever. I think that he's either been figured out by the league or he is just not as good as we thought they were. I think part of it also has to do with the offensive situation over there in New York. And I think this year in particular kind of shows some inconsistencies with some stars, especially wide receivers, in the way that they're covered. I think it's much easier to take a wide receiver out of the game than it is to take a running back out. So with that, I think it's kind of exposing some shifts in how teams play these top guys. So definitely kind of learning that, and I'm going to have that kind of in the back of my mind moving forward. But at the same time, I mean, OBJ, dude, number 3 overall, for sure pick. Everyone was like, okay, like obviously there's an obvious choice here. I mean, he sucked. He scored 3 weeks over 10 points. I think we have backup running backs doing that this year. So the fact that he has just been a total letdown really sucks. And what even sucks more about it is like you can't let him go because at the same time it's like he could give you 28. So that unknowing is just infuriating. So what he needs to do better, put him in the slot, dude. Just give him some passes. The guy, like if he has the ball, he's gonna make stuff happen. And I think that putting him on the outside, letting him being double covered the whole year is pretty frustrating. Fun fact, you're torn across the way. It must be frustrating losing to him in that fashion. What is the tension/relationship going into the game? Well, we play again in a few weeks. Every game is a must-win for me right now, so we're going to treat it like every game and set the roster and then don't look on Sunday because that's how my Sundays have been. Don't look, check at the end. Way less frustrating that way than to get your hopes up several times and then realize that, you're going to score 40 points less than your projections. So I'll set the lineup. definitely look at the waiver wire. Try to maybe be a little more aggressive, take some chances because everything is a must-win now. In terms of bets, probably not going to make any more bets. I think it's safe at that point. I even thought of making a bet with Gregor, but let's see how. Obviously, that would not have worked out well. So every game is must-win. I'm going to treat it like that. And whether it's Drew, whether it's Brian, whether it's Gregor, gotta win. Number 4, some would say that he is the better twin. Now that he beat you, what do you say to that? We're going to do no comment. 5, someone saw you in a shirt earlier this week proving that Kenny got you. Drew got you this week, and you only went against a fantastically terrible team run by a Brit. It's a very good point. They don't even play football, and now that I've lost to him, a team that has lost every game except the one to me, it's pretty exposing. It's pretty exposing of the weaknesses, considering that 2 losses have been to pretty much 2 guaranteed wins, losing to some really bad teams, Coy and Gregor's teams. And if those wins become losses, or if those losses become wins, I am now 6-4, moving into a really good position. So you got to step up and win the games that you should win. And kind of looking down the lineup in terms of people stepping up, like Andrew Luck's been doing it all year, but then you got your stars going down, and then you got guys who, they're young, but at the same time, it's like they're arguably the number 1 players on their position on their team. Jordan Matthews, Stephen Diggs, Isaiah Crowell, Theo Reddick, those are all starters and should be game players. But let's go down the line for them. 4, 5, 3, 2, 8. Those aren't starting players. Those are off the bench 4th quarter numbers. So the fact that, you got guys who should be carrying their teams, carrying my team, just totally not. Follow-up question, do you think it's preparation management or a bit of both? I think we've been unlucky this year. I think I took some chances on some young guys based on kind of them standing out in offenses, but it's been pretty clear that those offenses themselves are dysfunctional. So if you only score 15 points a game as a total offense, you can't really expect the number 1 guy on that offense to be giving you points every week. So it's been a little frustrating, but we're moving into the second half, the last part of the season. Every game is a must-win. Got to bring it. We got Brian coming up this week. Looking for a bounce back, looking for a miracle. And we're going to close out with, I think, Drew, and I can't remember who I play after that, but we got to line them up. We got to knock them down. Got to make the playoffs. Haven't made the playoffs yet, so got to avoid that toilet bowl. But don't worry, I have faith in Coy and Gregor to be able to take that thing back. So not too worried about that yet. But making the playoffs would be a stretch, but a really nice relief going into the holidays. So, sorry this is so late, and we'll be touching base hopefully pretty soon as my team starts another winning streak going into the last half of the season. So, okay, take care, guys.